Today had a very, very, very big potential of being a bad game or a bad day for Manchester United. I know that there were so many protests about the owners and everything, but what was important for Michael Carrick and the players was to get a win. Now, don't get it twisted. Everybody who's protesting has a very, very valid reason for protesting, but more importantly, they won this game today, and boy was that dramatic. 2-0 up in the final few minutes of the game, and somehow in the 91st minute it is 2-2. But they were like, nope, we're not gonna go without a win, and they still found a way to get that win. Manchester United are flying under Michael Carrick. 3 games, 3 wins against Manchester City, against Arsenal, the league leaders, away at the Emirates as well, and now against Fulham, who have been flying high in the Premier League and were 7th before this game. Honestly, you have to say hats off to Michael Carrick. The players as well. Šeško, beautiful finish. Also, you have to look at Bruno Fernandes, who looks like he's been freed and he looks like he's playing his best football again. And Casemiro, he's going out saying, yeah, I know I'm leaving Manchester United, but I'm going to leave very, very well, and I'm going to play my best football. Today was a fantastic game for Manchester United. But let's talk about the main talking points from this game. First and foremost, it was a game they knew they needed to win because Liverpool just won as well. Chelsea won as well. Manchester United needed to win to get back into the top 4 today, and that is exactly what they did. And today we saw goals from Cunha and also Casemiro, the Samba connection, the Brazilian connection. And clearly, like, you can just see that Manchester United are beginning to enjoy the football a bit more. They're starting to play with a bit more freedom, a bit more confidence as well. I think that's one thing that they were lacking from the time under Ruben Amorim. They're starting to play with more confidence. I think the players are starting to realize, yeah, these players were always fantastic before they came into this team. And it always looks like when Manchester United brings some certain players into the team, it's like they somehow manage to suppress them. But it seems like Michael Carrick has been able to find a formula to make the players play a lot better than they normally do. And you have to say that that's a good thing for him, because in 3 games, they've looked so much better than they looked all season. In fact, throughout last year, they looked so much better in these 3 games. Yeah, there were some VAR decisions. Manchester United could have had a penalty, but it was not given. We also saw like a goal that almost got given to Fulham when it was still 2-0, I believe, when Cuenca scored, and the offside was really, really tight. It took like 4 minutes before they were able to make a decision, which makes me think that sometimes this whole semi-automated thing in the Premier League is fake. But we'll get to that another day. I'll talk about PGMOL on another day. But more importantly, Manchester United were actually dominating this game all up until like the 80th minute. Like, from the first few minutes to the 80th minute, Manchester United did not look like they were going to struggle in this game. In fact, they had most of the chances in the first half. They had most of the chances in the second half. And by the time they scored in the first half, and then they scored also kind of early in the second half, it's like, yeah, this is another cruise to another victory, another 3 points. But somehow, in the space of 6 minutes, Fulham found a way back into this game. It was literally like 85 minutes, and that was when Raul Jimenez scored a penalty to make it 2-1. And one thing about football, I think a lot of people say this all the time, that a 2-0 win is a 2-0 lead is one of the most dangerous leads in football, because it's so crazy how it happens. If the opponent scores 1, there is so much momentum, so much motivation to get that equalizer, and that is literally exactly what they did. And it was an absolute banger from Kevin, one of the new signings this season. From like 24 yards out, from what I believe, it was a big goal, a screamer, honestly. And like, if you're a Manchester United fan in that moment, it's like, here we go again. How have we let a 2-goal lead slip? And honestly, I think that's one of the few things that Manchester United still need to work on. Yes, the football is a lot better, but it's not perfect yet. And I understand that there might be people who think maybe Carrick might be good enough for the job, but I do think he still has to prove himself. Yes, it's his first 3 games. He's won 3 games. That's the first time any new manager from Manchester United has done that since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer himself. But we all know that even the time under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was not perfect, and he ended up being sacked. But we're not going that far. He's still the interim coach, and he needs to prove himself. And I think 3 games is too fast for you to judge him. But what you can say is that the football is a lot better, the players are a lot more confident, and all of that. But surprisingly, not necessarily surprisingly, I think Manchester United did what Manchester United will always do: score in Fergie time. Typical Barclays football. And you saw Šeško get the winner in, like, what was it, the 94th minute. Like, it just looked like Manchester United had lost the 3 points and they were going to settle for a draw. But then they kept on going. And it's so funny because Fulham would probably think to themselves, like, we've done so much to get ourselves back in the game. Kevin scoring a banger would probably think to himself, like, what was that for? Like, you've wasted my goal. Like, you've wasted my highlights reel because we've not been able to defend properly. But more importantly, Manchester United in Fergie time. Benjamin Šeško. I know there's been lots of criticism as well for him, but he looks like he's starting to settle into Manchester United a lot better. So honestly, you have to just say hats off to Manchester United, finding a way to win. And these things have a way of affecting you down the line. You win one game, you feel a lot more confidence, especially if you lost the previous game. You win a second game and it's like, yeah, we've won 2 games on the bounce. You win a third game in the circumstances like this where it looked like they were going to lose or drop points again. So you win a third game. The next game, they're not going to go into that game thinking, let's get a draw. It's against Tottenham from what I believe, and I believe it's at home as well. I don't see any reason why Manchester United would not think to themselves, a Tottenham team that's currently 10 places behind us, struggling right now, currently losing to Manchester City as I'm recording this. Why won't we go for a win in this game? We've beaten the top team in the league. We've beaten the second best team in the league. We've beaten a team that was even 7th before we played them. So why can't we beat a team that's 14th? You know, I think right now, winning 3 games on the bounce is going to do a lot of good for their confidence. But the question now is, like, for Michael Carrick, who, like I said, is one of the first managers to get 3 wins on the bounce since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. How good has he been? I think he's brought the Manchester United blood and Manchester United mentality back into the team, and they're starting to play better football. And it looks like they've been freed from the shackles of Ruben Amorim's pragmatic football, in the way I look at it. I mean, I think a lot of fans were thinking maybe Amorim going was probably not the right choice. But in terms of the results, I think it is. Do I think that it was the right choice to sack him? I think there's some arguments for and against him, but I always look at results. I don't care how good you play. If you're not winning games, then you're not playing football well. You need to win games, and that's exactly what Manchester United are doing. It hasn't been pretty, but it's been a lot more entertaining. I think right now I wouldn't want to miss a Manchester United game because they're playing a lot better. They're playing better football. It's more entertaining, and they're actually getting results. So if you're a Manchester United fan, the only problem you have right now is from the board. I know that they're not happy seeing the current Glazers and Ineos and on all the other people, Mabarada and some other people who are on top, who are making certain decisions that don't feel like they're right. But more importantly, like I said, a result, a win. 3 from 3, 9 points from 9, still in the top 4, and in fact getting closer to Aston Villa, who lost today to Brentford. Crazy scenes. But more importantly, Manchester United are playing good football. Michael Carrick is doing what he has to do. There's still a lot of time. I don't think it's good to judge Carrick based on 3 matches. I think that's too short. But he has 14 games left, and there's no distraction. It's just the Premier League. Will he end up getting the job? Tell me what you guys think. I'm not sure he gets the job just yet. But depending on how well they play, depending on how he's able to maybe instill his own philosophy into the team, we may start to see maybe a chance of him getting the job, and maybe he might do well. But let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Safe and cheers.